see over here. So if I and I have my headphones, so let me know if you guys if it sounds good with it or without it. But I just want to talk about how love should not have to be earned, and this is because again, as I always say, the week after Valentine's Day is rough for a lot of people. A lot of clients are showing up just feeling undervalued, feeling how they're feeling. So I'm waiting for a couple of people to hop on. And we're gonna get talking about this and how love shouldn't be performance. You don't. It shouldn't require performance. You shouldn't have to say maybe things of that nature. So I wrote my little notes down because I want to make sure I hit all my topics because y'all know I can get off on tangents. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. It is Wednesday. I have 11 clients today, so I'm excited about showing up for 11 people. That's 11 different nervous systems, 11 different, and all that jazz. So I'm excited about that. You know, so I'm up for the challenge to show up for so many people. But let's just get into it. Love shouldn't be performance based. You should not have to feel like if you're in a relationship and you feel like you have to earn love, then that's problematic. And let me explain to you why. Um, if you have to earn love, then you no longer have a safety in them. You can no longer be yourself. So that means a lot of times when you're feeling like if I have to, I'm quiet, or if I shrink, or if I'm good. And this is typically rooted in some type of childhood. You were taught that as a child that if I show up a certain type of way, I will be loved. So love was conditional on how you're acting or how you're behaving. And this, I see this a lot of times in families that have siblings that might have had let's say, a problematic child. You had like you might have wasn't, you might have had an older sibling or a younger sibling that needed some extra correction or extra love. You learned early on that if I'm just quiet, I can take something off my parents' plate. So you learn how to just be helpful or to show up, to be quiet, all those different things. And you learned early on, this is how I earn my parents' love. So indirectly, you're taught it's a performance base. So now you're as an adult, you just about on being an avid dancer and you basically just performing. That's what you're all about performing. If you're helpful, if you're quiet, if you're strong, if you're perfect, all these things, if you don't need a lot, then you'll be loved. So if you ever have to do those things, like let's say you're no longer quiet because you're having a rough day and or you need rest or you're not perfect, now you start questioning, am I letting people down or my disappointment? Really, you're being human. So that's one of the first signs. If you feel like you have to always be helpful or show up or present yourself, all these different things, that you probably was taught early on that you have to earn love, and love is performance based, and that's just a really unhealthy space to be. The second one is, are you praised? Were you ever praised for being easy? This is my big one for people who are school was easy for you. You didn't need a lot of help growing up and different things. So a lot of times you were taught early on, if because you're the easy child. And parents might say that you were so easy growing up. You weren't like your brother. You were just so easy. So what did you learn? If I'm easy, I'm helpful. If I'm easy, this is what my parents need. So you subscribe to that as an adult, that let me just be easy going, not need a lot. Some people might say, "Oh, I don't need a lot," or "I'm just easy going." But are you really easy going, or were you taught that early on that that's the space, that's your role, that's your personality to be easygoing? Safe. If you're in a relationship and you feel like you're not allowed to rest, or you feel like if you rest, something's wrong, or you always have to be going, you need to be able to be human. That means you're able to cry, you're able to rest, ask for more, all those different things. Or if you feel like I need to be perfect, that's not that's not love. You learn to be performance based type of relationship. Let's see. it's important to realize you can still disappoint and belong. This is a really big one for, I see this a lot with athletes, people who are like, they grew up in a household where sports was everything. They learn early on that to belong, you cannot disappoint. And if you disappoint, that's a problem. So just trying to deconstruct all these thought processes that you might have learned growing up. You're not hard to love. It's just love was not freely given. And that's why I stand on that mantra. If you feel like you're hard to love, you probably were taught that love had to be earned. Um, when love has to be earned, anxiety replaces safety. So what happens is, instead of you feeling safe, you have anxiety. So you're always like, I have to overfunction, I have to overthink, I have to overperform, I have to overgive, I have to do all these things, because you no longer have a safety relationship. You have anxiety. So your anxiety is telling you, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to make sure I show up, I'm helpful, I'm quiet, I'm all these things, instead of just being you. Ask yourself this question: when was the last time you was able to just show up as is, no disclaimers, no anything, no like saying, oh, I'm sorry I did this. When was the last, where have you felt freely where you could just show up as is? I have a client at 10, so I'm like, looking at my clock. Where, when, at work, in relationships, as a parent. Love needs to be where it's not performance based, where you not feel like you have to overshare, overgive, overfunction, do all these things just to be loved. And that's why if you're at this space where you want to feel safe, I want you to comment safe in the comments, because we're gonna do this. We're gonna walk through this together. If you want to feel like, I want to get to the point where I don't feel like I have to earn love, where I don't have to show up and be this person that is easygoing all the time. It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to say, I need to rest. It's okay to say, I don't feel what I need more out of this relationship. Because, and this is something I really always tell people, if I set a boundary and my boundary makes me a villain in your story, I probably was an extra in my own story. I probably was putting you before. I was prioritizing your needs over my needs. And that is craziness. When you finally get out the fog of this whole, I have to be on for everyone else, it's enlightening. It is like you are like, I was allowing this type of behavior. I was on this type of people to just say whatever they want, and I was just happy for the crumbs they gave me. If you are feeling anything while I'm talking, if you're feeling anything within your like inside, it's like, ooh, she talking to me. I need you to just make sure you show up for yourself. I need you to realize that that is your inner child trying to say, I want to feel safe. I want to feel loved. I want to feel protected. I'm tired of you doing everything for everyone else and not checking in with yourself. If you're following this page, I do a lot of inner child truths, inner child things that will help you realize where you need to be at in life and different things of that nature. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about that you're not hard to love. You just wasn't freely giving love that you were supposed to give. We're going to talk about how it's not your job to save everyone else. It's not your job to make sure everybody's good and you're good. It's not your job to make everyone else feel comfortable and you're uncomfortable. We're going to call stuff out as is, because if not, you're going to still keep showing up for everyone else. Dealing with it. Like, I'm a big believer, you showing up for everybody else, but no one shows up for you, and then you're resentment and you're tired and you're frustrated and you're lashing out. Give the same energy to yourself that you're giving to everyone else. Like, that is so paramount, especially as we become older. We just don't have the space, at this big old age, we don't have the space or place to be showing up for everyone else and then have nothing to give for ourselves, right? So if you're listening to my voice and you want to learn how to break through of these unsafe relationships, or unsafe, even not even just romantic relationship, but platonic relationship, work relationships, always showing up for everybody else. You're at work trying to prove yourself. You're the first one there, last one to leave, and then but you're being passed up by every promotion. We need to talk about that. We need to break through. Where is this coming from? Where you feel like I have to be on, and I'm giving 120% to everyone else, but I'm not doing that for myself. So I thank you guys for everyone who stayed on the live. do have clients in the day, but I just want to just check in and make sure that you realize love should not be able to just love you, and you feel the way to be loved, being helpful, being quiet, all those different things, then this ain't the love for you. All right. So I have to go. I will have my lunchtime chat today. You guys comment, inbox me anything you guys want to talk about on my lunch today. We're going to chat for like at least 20 minutes. But inbox me and we'll go from there. But you guys have a wonderful day. All right. Bye.